Just call me Eddie here, and we're still working on this Benz C240 all-wheel drive. In the last video, I got the subframe finally bolted up and nice and sturdy to where it'll hold a motor. And we also got the motor nice and cleaned up and ready to go in. Put new valve cover gaskets on it, put a new water pump on it. Got a brand new transmission cooler line made for it. And we got everything mounted on the motor where it'll be ready to go in the car. Today we're going to install the motor. Now, I still have a lot of things to do, and I still have some parts to come in as far as getting this thing back where it'll actually run and getting this motor where it'll actually run inside the car. So in this video, we're going to be installing the motor, but I don't think the motor is going to be running at the end of this video. I still have a few things to do after I get it done, one of which is to install the transmission and to service that up. So that'll be all in the next video, and if you want to check that out, that'll be coming out within the next week. So for this video, let's do a real quick recap of this vehicle that I've been working on here. This is a 2005 C40 Mercedes-Benz all-wheel drive 4MATIC, whatever you want to call it. And we bought this thing at an IAA auction. It was wrecked from underneath. I don't know exactly what happened. Maybe once I get it running, I'll try to figure it out and we'll do a video on that as well. But once I got it to the shop, we discovered there was a hole in the motor because it wouldn't hold oil, and it just ended up on the ground when I poured it in the motor. And then we discovered there was a whole bunch of other problems. Also, the process for finding a motor for this thing was a little difficult, and we had to find a number on the back side of the motor. If you're looking at the motor, it's kind of in the 2 o'clock position, and it's scribbled in there. Had to use some brake clean to get it cleaned off. And that number is actually a sequence of model numbers for the engine, and this takes a later model number. This is actually a split year in 2005. So finding that number and finding this motor was a little bit of a task. Finally found one out of New Jersey. We got it shipped down here with a 6-month warranty, all for about $800. Heck of a deal, and we pulled the valve covers off. It looked really clean inside this motor. Have a lot of faith in it. Only had 106,000 miles on this used motor and came out of a C240 just like this one. And the other motor ran with no oil in it, so that's something to say about the design of this motor by Mercedes and how well it lasts and how durable it is. So I'm very excited to get this thing installed. Let's go ahead and stick it in, and hopefully we can get it running by the next video. If not, yeah, just stay tuned and check out my Instagram while you're waiting. Alright, so we got it suspended in the air. We're going to look over everything one more time. Make sure we're not missing anything. Make sure we're not forgetting anything. You know, see something that I kind of am forgetting. If I just grab it from underneath it here. Maybe, Chuck. Maybe. If you push this in for me a little bit. Push it in. Easy. Alright, hold on. One sec. Oh, keep it where it's at. Alright. Push it a little more. Alright, right there. Hold on. Alright, now let's drop it down a step. Whoop. Alright. This thing bolts up. So these radiator supports, they're not exactly lined up. Obviously they're supposed to be underneath the radiator and hold it in. So we gotta bend them over somehow, some way. So you can see the supports, one right there, and then you can kind of see the other one right over here. Let's see if I can get them into place. Just using a pry bar. Oh man, that's tight. Oh. Everything is so tight on this thing. It makes zero sense. We are still... So update on our Mercedes here. Look at this, man. It looks like half like a car. We still got the transmission out of it. I'm going to take home the pan and we're going to sand it up over the weekend, make it look real nice, paint it. And, you know, the motor's in. It's in there, right? You know, it's about, you know, I got it bolted down. It kind of lined up pretty good. It had a little trouble lining it up. That's all right. And we got the radiator in. I got it zip tied up. That's not Mercedes spec, but that's okay. That's because my radiator supports are still a little bit out of line here. We're gonna figure out how to get that. And I really don't have any way to mount it up here, so I'm just kind of got it sitting in place. It's actually pretty sturdy. I wouldn't be afraid to drive it like that. Our AC condenser isn't exactly the same. It's got a high pressure port right here as well. So I guess we're just gonna have 2 high pressure ports, because there's another one right there and there's our low pressure right there. So I guess we're just gonna have 2 of them. No big deal. AC compressor bolted up nicely. I think I am still missing 1 bolt in the bottom of it, but we won't tell anybody just yet. I forgot about that. But I'll probably be able to get it from the bottom. No big deal. Alternator's in. Everything's in. Everything's hooked up. You know, only thing we need to do to get the motor running now is put the transmission in and then hook up all our coolant and power steering system and AC system and, you know, fill it up with fluids and then let it rock. So we're getting close. We're getting really, really close. The only thing we got to mess with really body-wise is those radiator supports. Other than that, we're going to get the transmission back in. Got to do a power steering rack and probably going to have to get it aligned. But we'll worry about that when we get the state inspection rolling. Also, I do have a strut here for this thing, because this strut was severely bent during the wreck. So we're fixing that. And, you know, we need the windshield after that. But we'll worry about that once we get it running. We just need to get this thing off the lift and get it running and driving. And we'll be okay after that. So it's not looking bad now though. You know, this is honestly, and I'm gonna be honest with you here. We got the motor out on Saturday. We came in on Monday, took the front clip off, got the subframe where it would line back up. Came in on Tuesday, got the subframe up. Came in on Wednesday, got the motor ready to go. Did some other stuff with the shop. Yesterday I didn't work on it too much. Had some other stuff to get done before the weekend. And then today we came in and everything that I needed came in as far as the strut, the power steering rack and everything. So I went ahead and stuck it in. And here we are. It's Friday. My goal was to have it running by tomorrow, but I got some things to do this weekend. It's 4th of July weekend. So I don't think that's going to happen. So it's just going to have to wait another couple days. And another couple days isn't so bad when I've only been working on this thing for a week. In the next video, we're going to service the transmission up, put it in, and then put the rest of these parts that I have on order and laying around on, and hopefully we'll be able to drive it, at least make it run and move. There might be some other things that we run into. Hopefully everything will be okay with the suspension where I got the subframe lined up on the vehicle. And hopefully, you know, we don't run into any other obstacles. In the meantime, go check me out on Instagram and Facebook. We'll also be coming to some more platforms soon, so be on the lookout for that. If you want a free t-shirt, feel free to DM me and ask me for it. I might just send it to you. If you have any other questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram and Facebook or email me at justcallmeeddie1@gmail.com. Until next time, whatever you're doing, however you're doing it, make sure you stay dirty doing it, and you can just call me Eddie.